Scatter plots. Bivariate data is data for two different variables, usually related in some way. Variables are classified as response variables and explanatory variables. A response variable, the dependent variable, measures the outcome of a study. An explanatory variable, or independent variable, attempts to explain the observed outcomes. Algebraically speaking, your explanatory variable is your x and the response variable is your y. Once the explanatory and response variables are identified, we can display the association between the two variables using a scatter plot. We're going to look at an example. Suppose we want to know if there's an association between the number of spaces a property is from Go on a Monopoly game board and the cost of the property in the game. So I'm going to enter spaces from Go as my explanatory variable, and cost will be my response. In the TI calculator, we're going to enter our lists under Stat, Edit. I've entered my spaces from Go in L1 and my corresponding costs in L2. Once you've entered the data, quit back out into regular mode, and then we're going to go through and do our scatter plot. So we want to turn our plots on. Stat plot is right above the y equals. So I'm going to do second, y equals. I want to make sure that just one of the plots on, and I'm going to use plot 1. The rest of them should be off. Make sure it's set to on. Then it's going to ask what type. The one with the dots is our scatter plot. It asks for which list contains our explanatory, our X list, that'll be L1. Our Y list will be in L2, so I need to change this one. L2 is located right above the 2 button. And then it asks how do we want to mark our dots. I'm going to choose the little open square, and you can change the color if you want. And then we're going to click on Graph. Now notice nothing came up, and that's because of our view mode. So we're going to do zoom, and we're going to zoom stat. And there is our scatter plot. I've copied and pasted the scatter plot right here. Now you can see that most of these look like they would fall on or close to the same line. We have a few points that are away from the rest. If we understand the game Monopoly, we would know that these points correspond to values of utilities and railroads. To interpret a scatter plot, we look at the direction, the form, and the strength. We want to know how they're related. Positively related data means an increase in X results in an increase in Y values. Negatively related values means that when the X values increase, that the Y values will decrease in value. And with the linear relationship, we want to know how those points fall in a linear fashion. So do they look like a line, or is the data curved? That's what we're going to investigate. Looking back at our result from the Monopoly game, we can see that we have a strong positive linear relation.